If all the animals along the equator were capable of flattery, then Thanksgiving and Halloween would fall on the same date. Yeah, hey.
Alright, so ladies, gentlemen, and recent species in between, this is your motherfucking guy. This is your motherfucking spick. This is that dirty dick dude. SoulPapo again. And hello to everybody. I'm hoping that everyone survived St. Valentine's Day. And for those that may be outside of the States, Valentine's Day is a commercial holiday here where they rack up and try to repackage as many candies, plushed animals, and other sweets and flowers and shit like that so you can proclaim your love. So if you've been an asshole this whole fucking year, the past year, the year coming forward, and you just been a total douche and you've ignored your partner, you haven't given them the love every day, it's almost the same way that we treat church. You know, if for those who, you know, don't connect and pray with God on a daily basis, you know, throughout the fucking day, here's church on Sunday. So again, if you've just been a shitty lover, here's Valentine's Day. Try to make it up. So naturally, you know what I'm saying, being a Jew, I get quite offended, you know, having to be forced to have to, you know, buy these shits, which again, my lover, my partner, my woman, my baby mama, she doesn't have to throw shit like that in my face. She doesn't, you know, believe in materialistic things, believe it or not. You wouldn't think a bitch would think that way, but she doesn't expect it. So, you know, of course I want to get her some candies and some chocolates because, you know, you want to leave them hanging. But most importantly, because there's a fucking stigma, or not stigmatism, but there's you know, there's like a bias and just a commercial pressure of having to, you know, provide these things, having to go over the top and try to, you know, do up what you did last year, if not better, and you know, make sure that they have the adequate means to show off and to flaunt shit on social media, which again, social media is the devil. I'm sure it's great to connect with friends and to, you know, keep up with family, but for the most part, you're fucking keeping up with the Joneses and you're showing shit off and you're having to, once again, either live up to shit or have to even hear that shit once you're in the offices. And especially working in an office setting, you can't miss it. I mean, I can understand the cutesy little Valentine's Day cards saying you're awesome, you're swell, and things like that. Like, you know, that's cool. You know, give a little pick-me-up, a little reminder. But when you're having to then, again, force these things that are going to be triple, quadruple price, which again is only going to hit back 50% off the next day or whatever, which is just really equal to whatever retail price it would have been in the get-go if it weren't something that's being amped up and trying to shove into your face, it can be quite stressful, you know. And again, if you have someone, you love someone, you should be able to love them every day. You should be able to tell them every day. You should be able to show your appreciation. And if not, well, then again, you have this day to fall back on and to kind of kiss some ass, because you'll have to do that, or you're gonna have to lick some ass. Whatever the things that you normally wouldn't do, you're gonna definitely have to do on that day. I mean, and I laugh, and it's actually, no, I can't laugh because it's a dope fucking hustle when you see these motherfuckers out in the corners of the streets selling you all those things, which I feel like doing it before Valentine's Day, you're gonna, you know, business might not be a booming unless you're attracting the oncoming traffic that, again, is finally reminded and said, fuck it, I'm not gonna find myself at a goddamn store, let me get this shit now. And yes, there's gonna be a surplus price to it, and there's gonna be a markup, because not only did they have to purchase that shit from retail, you'd imagine, unless they're smart enough to get that shit in bulk somewhere, which I'm sure they did. Regardless, you know, they're gonna make the money, especially day up, because it all hits you that fucking moment. Holy fuck, I forgot the anniversary, I forgot the birthday, I forgot the day that the cat pissed on the carpet, and you know what I'm saying, it was a thing of Jesus, so it was a miracle. Like, you can't, if you're forgetting these hallmarks, you're gonna be all the more guilty and all the more primed to be able to, you know, bust out and, you know, and sell shit out. So, and that's what I've noticed too, at least, like I said, because there's a moderate gift giving, but when you see outrageous shit, it's either because the relationship started and they're really trying to, you know, make their way into that ass if they haven't gotten it already.
Courtship.
And then there's just those that, like I said, really fucked up and needed to fucking come out with some dividends to show that, you know, how much they loves you. See, and I kind of usually see that, you know, when there's like a cheating and shit. Is not when Kobe Bryant's wife got that big ass rock. Anyways, motherfuckers that make the money, it's meant to sell you shit. And I'm so sorry, I keep getting lost into the business germophobes of such fuckery. What I was trying to say was, when you see the business out there, they're gonna be giving you the reminder. They're gonna help you. You're gonna get it because, again, you need it. So one of the things that however the hell you coincidentally, I don't believe in not coincidence, strategically, what company Burger King had did is they had made an adults combo meal. So similar to the Happy Meal, and it has a little fucking box that looks like the goddamn Happy Meal box. Along with the Happy Meal box, they had your combo meal, your burger, your fries, and a little kinky sex toy to go along with it. Now, it wasn't no fucking dildo. You ain't gonna see goddamn Black Thunder come with this combo meal, but you had like your little fuzzy cuffs, your little feather duster, that shit that covers your eyes, looks like a sleeping mask, and then some kind of, looks like an exoskeleton of a broom, all tracked out like someone was trying to jump off the roof with it, which I'm not too sure if that would be a euphemism for how you would inject that into something vaginally or rectally. Either which way, I know it might sound disgusting, and I'm pretty sure that it was more tasteful. I have no idea what that fucking thing was. I can only judge it by a picture. I didn't bother looking at the video, and I definitely didn't go to Burger King to try to get it because, again, I didn't need that shit day of. And not to say that I didn't go to Walmart the night before to be able to, make sure I got a shitload more candies, because I did kind of fuck up and I said some things and I had to kiss a little ass, which I don't mind doing. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do for the people that you love. But I laughed that they included that, as part of the meal, getting good promotion. The movie had just come out, but the movie had come out a little while beforehand. So it was, and I'm not too sure if the little promotion offer was going on for longer. I mean, if they were smart, they do it before the movie debuted so they can have a strong opening. But whatever the case may be, they still had that shit going on, or at least they advertise it for the day of. And again, they're gonna sell shit off of you. You're gonna buy shit off of the whole system, in which is perfectly rigged in order to be able to profit as much as possible and to kind of keep us chasing wind, whether you're in a couple or you're not. And the Bible says that sometimes it's even better to be without that, because it adds more stresses and you're able to live a longer, cleaner life. Now, supposedly, statistically speaking, when you have, like your soulmate, that you apparently have something, longer to live for, and then naturally you live a little bit longer than you would if you were, alone. But that'd be on some alone shit, like you're in not servitude, but solitude, where you're in the shadows and you don't have a fucking window to look out of and you have no human interaction. That's the kind of shit that people, I think, misinterpret when they do mention being scared of dying alone. No, there's so many people, there's so many friends. I mean, you ain't gotta be a hoe to live a full life, without being in a relationship. It's just about the relationships that you have, being meaningful and being something that again gives you purpose. And if you're into it, I forget his name, he was kind of, I think he might be a Christian evangelicist, Rick Warren maybe. He had a book called something of a purpose-driven life. It's dope, and I think if you buy it now, like either local Christian bookstore, or if you go online, I think they might even have a little journal with it, so you can do that along with as you're reading the book. And it's a really good book. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, I want to dig that up, because there's always things that you could pull up, at least roots that you can find. And I feel like even, and for example, house, man, it's riddled by fucking weeds. I'm not used to getting my Mexican on and having to pull them shits. I finally did it once and the motherfucker sprouted back like nobody's business. I feel like it was on some biblical shit where it talked about, if you damn one of us will come back, and that's how I came back in legions. And I feel that's how demons could be, man. You get really blessed up and prayed up for a little majority of time, that motherfucker comes back all the more stronger, because he knows that who he's fucking with and what they have to battle against. Right now I'm kind of in that mux. If I could be up so confessional to you right now, I had to make a change, because I definitely wasn't happy, in what I was doing. I feel like I wasn't helping as many people as I could have. I felt like I wasn't really exercising all the strengths that I could, and I made a jump that, I felt like such a weight lifted off of me. I feel the only little bit of scaredness that I feel right now, because I'm gonna have to get back into, interview mode, and I know, I want so badly to be on the radio, to be able to talk to you and be able to, switch up the personality a little bit, because again, whether I'm on newscast mode or whether I'm on, laid back mode, I want to be able to shoot the shits and to give you the news and to be able to, do what it does and whatever it may entail. You know what I'm talking about? And I know I'm not the cleanest and most politically correct, and I know that can appear somewhat different. But again, all in which is out there is to support and to feed a certain thing, whether that be a niche or a certain demographic or a certain market. And you might think, well, what the hell does this void fill? But believe that it does, and there is one for everything. I mean, you wouldn't have pornos with pregnant bitches on them if they didn't exist, or if it wasn't a kink, if it wasn't just something for it. Like I said, you build it and they will come. You have it, and for you use it, and for that in which withstands the test of time is that which flourishes and hopefully gives off the most fruit, baby. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bust off this fruit with you, baby girl. You know what I'm saying? And I wondered to myself, because the Bible can be very, please believe I love Jesus like nobody's business, as you can hear in the foul shit that I say, because I obviously had to believe in forgiveness. But one of the things that really got the most when it came to, that I picked up from what the Bible did, not only it being, King James making it, a little bit Anglo, so that those that are in which are dark in complexion can go through a tougher struggle. And you can't say that isn't fucking true, because we see that in blacks, we see that in Latino community, because if the whiter you is, the more beautiful you is, or so in which they make us believe, right? Because we're all the same people. They just, you know what I'm saying? We just got cooked a little bit differently, and again, it's just put a different part of the map. And I feel like the Bible does a service, but also a bigger disservice when it comes to women in general, just because they blame everything on the women, even though that's where life comes from, and that's where all the goodness, you know what I'm saying, in which case is flourishes, and nature versus nurture is actually defined. I felt like they put a big bad rap on woman. Now, whether or not that could be true, in which case that she was the one that fell into the trap first, I really feel like and men, we mind fuck. I hate to say that I'm mind fucking. I'm a good mind fucker. If anything, my endurance and mind fucking is far more greater than it is physically speaking, and I hope to be able to reverse that, or not to reverse that, but to keep up with. And I know that, or at least I wonder, what if just Adam was just, playing around? And Eve was the main one, but he, was caught off some trippy. He let his little perverted desires, be trickled, maybe, you know what I'm saying? And he led shit down the wrong pipe, and just had to push off the blame. And it made convenient sense, because we want to stay empowered, we want to stay above it all. And even though we have women in positions of power, don't tell me there ain't no motherfucking Leisure Suit Larry above her. So I don't know, that's something to think on, and it might be too big shits for you to want to embrace or to defend, but love a woman, and know that you can be loved, and that you are full of something. I have no idea why I went on this tangent. Can someone tell me? I wasn't supposed to go specifically into the male, the females, the she-males, the what have yous, the ladies, gentlemen, the Reese's Pieces in between. That shouldn't have to be the difference. It doesn't make a difference, because like I said, we're all one. It just has a little bit more details in the pudding, and that's where motherfuckers start getting picky. Now, what I wanted to say, and obviously there is distinct differences, and like I said, there's just those shits that fall in between. No, you don't have to succumb to whatever, whether you want to call them traditions, I call them fucking commercial manipulations. However the shit comes, like I say, it does have an effect in things that we do, sales, the dividing ships, everything else. I mean, even PornHub, they fucking have, and they have analytics to prove shit, and in which, the things that happen, and how the traffic does slow down, but by 9 p.m. it just kind of ramps back up just a little bit, showing you that a lot of the shits that you see, the things that they put us online and things that they're showing off, it might just be for that time. You know what I'm saying? Any smart man, hopefully, who's well put, he's gonna be able to shower all his fucking side bitches. They can all feel special. They can all put it out there. They have no reason to be digging or hollering and hooting, so they try to figure out more information until it comes down to where you are that night. And like I said, there is a little bit of a spike to where it hits negative 17%, and of course there's more women than there is female, but just by a variation of 4 to 6%, in which there's people on, out there, trying to get it in or get it on. And I mean, from age ranges of 8 to 24, I mean, you have people getting back on it by 11. Ages 25 to 34, the older folks, they don't stay out as long, so they back in by 10. 34 to 54, 45 to 54. It's all, like I say, it's crazy specific how everyone just kind of jumps back in. Now, the largest traffic, and I guess this is kind of just to talk shit about those who out there beating the meat a whole lot more, and it doesn't surprise me a little bit. You have Nevada, you have Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York, Maryland, Jersey. You have these people being on the top of that. Just they went right back at it because it was just, you know what I'm saying, it. I don't know if those are the towns that never sleep and they're on the East Coast and they up doing the damn thing. But some of the smallest traffic, which again to me kind of shows the last part of loneliness, are those with addictions to this shit. Minnesota, Vermont, Louisiana, Wisconsin, Mississippi, Alabama. So it's kind of funny, you know, the church belt-ish, you know what I'm saying? There's lesser of them, so lesser heathens fucking lusting out themselves out there. I mean, there's like some funny comparisons in which case that they looked up, and that's actually, I think, the part that kind of shows a deeper bit of this, a deeper part of, you know, the shit that we look for, you know, when we're digging or searching for porn. I didn't think people actually use the tags as much as apparently they do, and that's kind of what I'm about to spout out some facts right now. One of the biggest averages that people look for, this is in PornHub, is love. And actually, this is specifically Valentine's Day. So people looked up love, passionate, romance, making love, massage, erotic. And then it kind of gets into the things like kinky, seduce, spa. But then it goes into sensual, romantic, rough sex, dare, quickie, bondage, sneaky, female friendly, truth or dare, babysit. All right, so that's when we start kind of get back into the regular norms of shits or regular purpose of shits. But it's kind of fascinating, the shits that people search. Like, and again, we try to fill in this void a lot of times, you know, especially when we're either brokenhearted or left to the shits. You know, we really try to fill that void and shit, whether that be a drug, whether, like I said, that just be an endless, mountainless sea of just, you know, emotionless fucking, like, you know, not to say that it's okay, but not to say that it's not. Anything can be good in moderation. You know, I think eventually, once you do that enough, you know, you seem to know what you're looking for, you seem to know what you want, and you're going to be clear-minded, and hopefully you can move stead forward into the things that, you know, you truly desire, and again, not be used or, you know, be made upon of. And I think that's the biggest thing, especially with the unfortunate fact that most relationships are split in an 80-20 kind of thing. There's always going to be someone who loves more, and unfortunately, if that's you and you love more, note that the tide will shift. But that's shitty when it does, because then you lose out on something you've been waiting for. You waited too long. Finally, they're in cahoots and they're gaga over you, but you've moved on, or you've kind of become not cellophane. What I'm trying to think of, immune, you know, to it. You know, you become a little bit more numb, and that's definitely what the booze and alcohol and other shits. And I just named the same thing twice. You know, that how they do to you, what they do to you, and you know, and it's like, it's not good in the long haul. I said, things in tidbits, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing to, you know what I'm saying, to be happy and excited and you're feeling a rush, and you know what I'm saying, you're on a bit on that and then, you know what I'm saying, but you can't keep going Tony Montana with it. No, enjoy yourself, celebrate, God bless you, and you know what I'm saying, try to be fruitful, you know, in more ways than one. But again, don't be tied down by that shit. Please, the next time that you have to go through this, if you could hopefully remember these words, you know what I'm saying? Don't stress it. Be fucking merry, you know? And I don't mean a virgin who somehow miraculously got knocked up, but you know what you did. You know you did. So anyways, it wouldn't be the Soul Papo In Cogneto podcast if I didn't reveal to you some awkward fucking capturing of lists and things that correspond with the fuck I'm about to talk about. And I'm going to go over 26 people revealing some of the weirdest things that they've either said or have been told during sex. One of them, and goddammit, those pancakes really slowed you down. Motherfucker, you can't be eating a hearty meal before that. Take the same advice of runners. The other one says, a girl called me champ. Like, yeah, champ. That's some white people shit for sure. Number 3, during a one-night stand in college, the girl who was having sex with was on top of me, and she sang the song Happy Birthday. It was entirely while heart-bizarrely bouncing to the beat of her own panting. Every time I attempted to interject playfully or, you know, reposition our, you know, beast with two backs in hopes of putting an end to the seemingly satanic rhythm, she would force me back down hard. It was not my birthday. Number 4, no, don't touch my feet. It's like, bitch, why are we even here then? Covering your feet and all that retarded shit. Number 5, haha, you look like Hitler when you lick me. Bitch, shave your shit. Or, I don't know, do people still have the little Bahama airline strip shit? I forget what it was called. Number 6, get the spatula. Oh, God. Number 7, don't worry, it's been 48 hours since my last outbreak. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. Number 8, my pelvic was already against her body, and she said to go deeper. Bitch, you already know I done run out of dick. Been there. Number 9, been here too. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Oh, God. Number 10, you can come in me. I have cysts on my ovaries. Oh, my God. Really quickly, I gotta fucking interject. One of the scariest fucking times, and I've been in about at least 3 of them, where, you know, you meet someone and, you know, shit is good, and God is with you. At least he should be warned, you know, before going into such, you know, sacred temples where it's been like, oh no, it's okay, we don't need to use a rubber. Like, motherfucker. All right, number 10, punch me. I've been there before too. That's fucking awkward. 10, grab your ankles. Oh, God. 13, my girlfriend mooed at me once. She had been going at it for a while and there was no sign of silliness. It was perfectly timed. Number 14, do you have a real or a fake Christmas tree in your living room? 15, hysterical laughing after I prematurely ejaculate. That's never happened before. This never happens. You would usually hear that when shit like that pops off. 16, is it in yet? Oh, God. Asian? 17, open the floodgates. Oh, God, yes, bitch. Another number. 18 says Yahtzee when he came. Number 19, I call her my darling little princess, which I found out is what her dad calls her. Brought the whole thing to a screeching halt. And that is fucking awkward. And even though I get the sub and dom thing, the whole matter of being called daddy and shit like that either perverts the fact of a father being able to love his daughter, or again, the fact that you'd fucking want to interject that shit. So it took, I don't know how it started, but please believe that bitch had some daddy issues, and she was supremely fucked. 18 inches. Number 20, a friend of mine once shouted, "Here we go!" in a falsetto Super Mario voice, right as he came into his ex-girlfriend. Mind you, it's an ex-girlfriend. 21, I feel pregnant. Oh my God, you bitch. I bet you she was a Winita, because I had me one of them. 22, saying the words, hot pocket. Oh my goodness. Number 23, I want to fuck you like a little pony. I wonder if that was one of those brony guys. Number 24, we're getting hot and heavy, and she was giving me some dirty talk when suddenly, out of nowhere, she just screamed, "Put your breadstick in my donut!" Oh my God, how old was the bitch? And was she hefty? Number 25, do you feel like underwater Cadillac? Thanks, she said. Ooh. Matter of factly, there has been those times where it's just, you know, when you're inside of someone and you're just like, oh my God. Like, there's definitely like an aquatic kind of feeling, like you feel like you just put the warmest glove on, something that was perfectly shaped for it, and it's just in the endless eruptions of oceans. That's usually when I'm gonna bust a butt load real quickly. Just gonna come to a screeching halt because I'm done, and that nigga dead. I remember, man, and I don't know what this says about me or my chemical, but there's a bitch once that I was with. We had great sex, hated the fuck out of each other because we were both Capricorns, but we had really great sex. And she was a very clean girl, and me, you know what I'm saying, motherfucker, I'd shower 3 times a day because I, you know, had the workouts in just the same. So I don't know what it was, but our chemical fusions when we'd fuck, it smelled. Like, I don't know if you ever smelled sex before, or if you could ever smell sex in the air. It's usually not good, but when it stinks though, when it's like damn near like it makes you want to gag, which we wouldn't be lost in it, but when I would fucking smell it, I'd be like, oh god damn, I don't know if this is the universe telling us we do not belong, because this chemical reaction is, no, we got a lot of trouble. She was a dirty hoe fucking Puerto. Anyways, the last one here, number 26, during a choking session.
Oh, that sounds right.
You're so brave little toaster. Oh goodness.
Some
Yeah, that's the thing I can't stand too, because I will get a case of the chap dicks when you're kind of being a little bit too aggressive, and he needs to be held firm, but you can't be aggressive. You gotta love him. You know what I'm saying? Sure, he isn't the man on the boat, but still, be gentle, be kind.
What the fuck?
Alright, so if I could be a fatty and kind of take it back to the Burger King thing and how they had the little 50 shades of bullshit along with the orders, someone in New Hampshire had their own little promotion deal going on, and I got caught the fuck up. Now apparently this dude, or they're blaming the two employees, but it was this one cat named Garrett Norris, aka Nasty Boy, and then Megan Dearborn, who was younger than him, his manager. They got arrested because apparently there was an undercover sting operation back in January that busted them selling weed out that motherfucker. And apparently all you'd have to do when you go into the drive-thru, you ask for Nasty Boy, he confirms that's him, and all you have to do is ask him for the extra crispy fries, or fries extra crispy. I'm not too sure if the words had to be exactly that order, just to make sure. That would make sense. And apparently they get in a little coffee cup, but eventually after a while, there was, I guess, business was booming. Motherfuckers went there, caught the motherfucker. They threw the manager in as well. She denied all counts of participation or inclusion or some shit like that, but they caught the bitch with alcohol there. She's 19 now, and it's a fucking unionized job. Needless to say, the bitch got canned along with them. And for like a second, not to kind of throw the race card out there, I was thinking it was fucking Mr. Donnell Watkins again, trying to sell his mixtapes out that bitch like we heard last time. So surely I thought it was a brother. I'm like, no way. And I saw it was New Hampshire, so I'm thinking, not to typecast or stereotype whiteness, but who knows how long this shit was going for. I would have loved to have knocked that out, be able to get some rub and be able to pick up a sack, because Lord knows I hate having to travel for it, hate having to go to shady areas, and if I could hide it inside the kids meal, well then fucking hey, problem solved, case closed, no need to search any further, officer. Now the only unfortunate thing though is that Burger King's whack, and if it wasn't for the heavy mayonnaise fucking Whopper, I don't think you can stand the test of time. But McDonald's is full of fucking bullshit, so there ain't no real clear winner when it comes to that.
What the fuck?
Alright, so speaking of drive-thrus, a drunk dude drives through a fucking DUI promotional shoot as it was being filmed. Now this happened out in Valley Brook, Oklahoma, and some college students, they were filming out there, some of those don't drink and drive, tapes that, you see, they laugh at or don't pay no attention to because you figure, oh, well, it ain't gonna never happen to me, whatever bullshit that we tell ourselves. But the cat who had literally drove right through the shoot, damn near hit one of the kids that was filming it, stopped, looked at them all like crazy and retarded, and kept on cruising. Eventually did get pulled over, and this guy had blood alcohol content of 0.17, and that's twice the legal limit down there. And I imagine that they allow for some drinking, so that's just fucking wild. And how ironic though, I think that's the biggest kicker and fucking tickle to the cooches. How ironic that out of all things you jump into a fucking shoot that they're filming and showing the parallels of how crazy that shit would be. I don't know if they got footage of the dude almost hitting the kid, but that would have been fucking perfect, and that definitely would have been a good fucking sell. And that shit's no joke, yo. And I hate to fucking sound preaching and have to, gloricize, how, people have been fucked with that. But like I said, people, DUIs, these motherfuckers can be expensive. They can definitely put a hold to whatever the fuck that you're doing. And it's a lot of senselessness, all because you weren't thinking right from the get-go, not getting a goddamn Uber or a Lyft or some shit. In which case, at SoulPapo, so I can pick you motherfuckers up if y'all down here locally. But it's just I don't know, it's a matter of craziness, and I'm glad the kid didn't get run over. I'm glad nobody died. But this is definitely one of those shits that you could just the universe, God, love, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that shit is beautiful. And definitely, God bless America, because in Montana, there's a lawmaker who's seeking to bring back the road beer, which I'm pretty sure that motherfucker who ran them through the DUI shoot had, or probably wished that he did have it because he was too paranoid to drink and drive, even though his ass was already fucking drunk. Now, lawmakers out, like I said, in Montana, they're slated to debate a proposed bill that would allow vehicle passengers to have a so-called road beer, and that's pretty much where you kind of, I'll take one for the road. And the House Bill 206 would lift the ban unopened alcohol containers for passengers in a vehicle on Montana highways. Now, drivers still will be restricted from drinking alcohol while operating the motor vehicle, but that's still a big push. And I guess one of the bigger things, and this dude's 29, so it shows you there, and I wish I would have gave his fucking name, but he's on Twitter, and I'll try to get the links for it. He proposed on Twitter, why can't passengers have a drink? And that is true, you know what I'm saying? I remember when I kind of had to do a little stint, be upper amplifying myself, realizing, you know what I'm saying, a little bit more, getting more all up in my wokeness. I remember I had a little buddy with me, and his ass was some little bit off the rocker, and he happened to have a container with him. Now luckily I was able to get shit absolved from him, because I didn't want his ass to get thrown into the mix too. But again, they could get you for just having an open container. You don't have to be drinking on it, which I'm pretty sure if you have a fucking open drink and it's sitting there in the goddamn cup holder, you probably are sipping on it. Yeah, that shit's legal. You get busted, but now at least hopefully it could be you could put it on your homie, or at least not get in trouble if he's having one, because what the fuck's the point? Especially, let's say, and I remember being little and going on road trips, my fucking dad would take a case of his shit, and I was his fucking beer getter, because he has to keep his eyes on the road. Motherfucker, give me a beer. Okay, yes daddy, for sure daddy, I'll get it right for you daddy. Like you gotta play second fiddle. But then again, if you're actually enjoying yourself on this cruise, and let's say you have a DD, and why the fuck can't you enjoy your goddamn self, huh?
What the fuck is
Ep13 Alright, I was really never a drinker, which is what I thought was so ironic about me getting busted for that, and it's not something else. But again, God gives us the licks and wants us to take our L's, be able to get stronger, much more better. We learn life's a happy planet, right? Or so we think, or whatever the hell. We stuck in the Matrix, but you know what I'm talking about. Now, one of the things I laugh about when it comes to fucking drinking, the one pure thing that we should have, the one fucking thing that they charging us for, and what really shows you some Illuminati type shit, is water. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't have to pay for this shit. We shouldn't have to go through such trenches just to be able to obtain it. I mean, fucking A, there's more of that on this earth than there is land. Like the fuck, obviously something that's gonna be hella tainted, and most importantly, that shit's still fucking popping off in Flint, Michigan. And I started really tripping the fuck out when I started hearing that their fucking Attorney General Richard S. Cole, I guess he's the assistant to the general side. I'm not too sure exactly what the dude's name is, but he's definitely the head up there. Was referencing how the water is technically safe, but definitely discourages folks from fucking drinking it. This shit looks like muddy ass water. It's safe, but don't drink it, nigga. This is coming directly from the motherfucking Attorney General. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel so bad. And I mean, not bad enough to, I was searching my pocket trying to ship out some water out there, but it really does need to be looked into. And as much shit as we give Trump and the administration for all the other shits that, it's fucked up on, supposedly the one thing that they are going to get done, and again, I get bad about how many steps we take back just to take one fucking forward, but they really are going to need to try to fix the infrastructure and the actual pipelines that cut through the bitch. And that's definitely the start. That's what we need to do. I mean, just like how the Empire State Building or the Statue of Liberty, like that shit has its regular maintenance. When you're talking about things that have to, our very lives depend on, that shit needs to be updated too. And if it hasn't been, then we get shits like this. Same thing when fucking Katrina happened. Like, forbid, and Lord, God bless those that, that were gone and that were injured from it. But that shit was just waiting to happen. The shit with LA, we're expecting fucking comets to come down and fucking just crash land with the bitch, making Arizona the next fucking hotbed, of beautiful weather and everything else. That's because we're gonna cut that fucking corner that's over there. Now, I mean, not that we're wanting to, not that we're expecting to, but I mean, scientifically shit shows, the shit's gonna be calculated. It's just a matter of when, and of course, we gotta be prepared for such things. But again, the chippiest part is the fact that if we know, then why are we doing something? And if there's something that we can do, is that why they're fucking preparing to ship these motherfuckers out to Mars? I mean, not to play fucking, conspiracy dude, but
what the fuck?
Alright, I kind of get too hyped for myself. I start steering away, leering in. You can tell the medicine's kicking in. Lord, forgive me. And that's a sound preacher. But one of the things that I really feel like we're put to do, if not, to leave this planet in better condition than, how we found it, is to be able to be good to our neighbors. You know what I'm saying? To do the, Christ-like thing and not being so fucking selfish. Be a good Samaritan. And there's this cat in West Hempfield Township who probably thought he was doing the same. And apparently, dude became a getaway driver. After meeting, I don't know how long he knew this dude, but he met this cat at a bar, and then with Shannon Stebek, and dude told him that he had to stop at the bank. Well, I guess dude stops in, goes in there, sticks up the motherfuckers. They didn't say whether he had a weapon or not or any kind of possession like it, but he took some money, which was undisclosed. He comes back in. I don't know if he was freaked the fuck out, if he was super hype and adrenaline pumping, or if he told the motherfucker, drive, motherfucker, drive. But they took off. Dude, I guess, drops him off at a Kmart plaza kind of thing, and then ends up going back to the bank and pretty much saying, hey, such and such is at this Colombian restaurant, I didn't have nothing to do with it. And apparently they got him in custody. They have him on charges. The dude who was a getaway driver did not get, stuck up or in any sort of trouble, but that'd be some fucking shit. And it kind of almost reminds me of, I don't know if you remember the movie Don't Be a Menace, I'll Send You While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood. Classic parody movies. This is like beginning of shit. This is when the Wayans brothers were, before they did the scary movie shits and shit kind of went to hell. They made fun of all the hood classic films, all the urban movies. And in the scene, which I think was trying to take something from Don't Be a Menace or Menace to Society, I'm not too sure what the class reference was, but the dude was getting his driving test in, and he goes in there, and the instructor, who seemed like a total, Uncle Tom kind of cat, rural, just his, I don't know, his verbiage, his, the way his vocabulary, his presentation, his, pronunciation, it was just on par. And, and he tells him to pull into somewhere. He goes in the fucking bank, comes back yelling with the gun in the motherfucking face. Drive, motherfucker, drive. What the hell? News. Alright, so this will be the last little story. Keeping it in the high spirits and good praises of Good Samaritans. There was an arrest made for a 26-year-old by the name of Brittany Folds, a former nursing home employee, and she performed some quote-unquote lewd acts on a 100-year-old patient. Now, this bitch, who again is a quarter of this guy's tenure here in life, was, pretty much, and she was on tape because there's another dumb bitch who recorded it, and apparently this shit was done months ago, but it finally became, evidence to prosecutors, and it shows her twerking on the guy, showing him, or telling him that she could show him new things. She had flashed his ass to him, pretty much letting him have his way with her. Now, in that essence, I'm kind of thinking, well, shit, and this definitely is going to come off as a double standard, but that's why there's such things, because obviously if a man were to do that to a woman, to be, what the fuck, that's terrible, that's penetration, but this woman is making the sexual advances to him. Now, the fuck thing of it is, he has dementia, so Lord knows if he knows, what's going on, if he'll remember it, if he's freaked out because he's used to, having this bitch serve him juice, and all of a sudden she's putting her titty in his mouth. Like, it'd be one thing, to confuse him or to fuck with him, or Lord forbid even give him a heart attack, and that'd be the end of that. But the fact that he's working, with them, like I said, and I'm fighting both causes here, because again, I would love it if I'm that damn old, still alive and kicking, or at least breathing, far be it from anyone to deny me such services. If anything, again, that's a God blessing. Even when David, I'm getting Old Testament here, when he was an old man, and they tried to test his stamina to see whether or not he was still up for the fight, they would lay him down with, multiple young women to keep him, quote unquote, warm. Of course, it was to test his manlyhood, to see if he was still up and thriving and, still had some fuck in him. But, this old man, again, he's at a retired assistant living thing, where you scrub his ass and you feed him. Now, again, getting some titty to the mouth would fucking be a luxury, and that is definitely, being cared for. But this man doesn't know what's going on. And I'm not too sure if maybe he's made sexual advances to her. I'm not too sure if he's, maybe thought of her naked and thought, damn, this little piece of ass, she's my grandbaby's grandbaby, in age. Like, you would, who knows what his realm of thinking is, and what if he's been a good Christian all his life, and he wouldn't want to have the lewd acts of perversion, on his conscience. That'd be pretty fucked to kind of give it to him at the very end. But then again, we going out with the bang. And obviously, if he was unknowing of it, who knows? But she got canned for it, as I guess she should have been, because I want to support her and hooking him up. But again, who knows if that was even wanted? Again, he would have forgotten all about it. But does that make it right? If a tree falls in the middle of the woods and there was no one there to hear it, did it make a sound? All right, guys, this is the end of news. All right, so all those stories, although true, and links in the video or description description of the podcast, however you're listening and ingesting this. Although it's all just kind of in the eyes and ears of the beholder, how you interpret it, how you imagine it. Let me hit you with some facts, okay? Because what the fuck or not, job is a job, and you got to be able to pay the bills. And scientifically, scientists have gone to prove or claim that starting work before 10 a.m. is quote-unquote biological torture. Now, we all know that waking up and dragging your ass to work every morning is brutal, but now we've actually got some science on our side, and the facts indicate that it's almost healthy to snooze later than you might expect. Now, researchers at the Oxford University found that waking up and going to work before 10 a.m. is biologically unnatural. He even calls it the quote-unquote most common form of modern-day torture. This motherfucker just sounds like he's not a morning person, but he quotes, "We cannot change our 24-hour rhythms. You cannot learn to get up at a certain time." That's bullshit. Your liver and your heart have different patterns, and you're asking them to shift 2 or 3 hours, says Dr. Paul Kelly, Kelley. Kelly says that we have a natural human body clock that regulates brain activity, energy levels, hormone productions, and perception of time. Now, the human's body clock, known as circadian rhythm, ticks in accordance with the rising and setting of the sun. And I have read about how those who work like night shifts and shit, they typically live less, or they don't live as long as their counterparts because they don't see the sun as often. But as you know, the company you work for doesn't care about these inborn rhythms. Our lives are structured around maximizing business production and efficiency, and the peak American wake up time is between 6 and 6:30 a.m. That's why if you're out here in AZ, for damn sure you're gonna be hitting fucking traffic about that fucking time. Now, Kelly also says that going against the pulse of our natural circadian rhythms throws many aspects of our health out of balance. Shouts out to Verse, and he might be able to talk about this. Hopefully we will on the next I'm Black, He's Mexican podcast. But he tested the theory at a school in Britain, moving the start time of the class from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. And the results found that the attendance, productivity, and the grades had all improved. He is quoted to say that this is an international issue and that everybody is suffering, but don't have to. Now, unfortunately, you can't really pick the fucking hours you're working unless you have some kind of seniority. So, you're kind of fucked. Especially, again, if you're a quote-unquote morning person, you have to take care of this. And I kind of think that it's kind of bullshit, even though they say that the next time you're late, you're missing an important meeting, you could just, quote the fucking circadian rhythm and, let them know, that it's better for productivity. But motherfuckers don't give a fuck. We got a business to run, and we operate within these fucking hours. And if I gotta work past this fucking hour, there might be a law that I gotta pay you more. And Lord knows I don't want to do that shit. So I just know that a lot of those times, when it is that we need to get that sleep, because sometimes, especially if you're with kids, you might not be able to have all those chances. You gotta, like me myself, I gotta make sure everyone's up and running and on their way. And then once they're home, you gotta put in some FaceTime and do all that stuff and put them to bed, and then you might need to wait till everyone's asleep to be able to have your own personal time. So I get it. There's literally, truly not enough hours in the day to be able to do everything you're supposed to do. But just know that, if you're able to pick it, you might live a happier life. So that, and stay away from social media. So don't give in to the hype. And definitely, if you're a perverted sex bastard, heathen, don't forget that some of the most eloquent and renowned people were that, or at least had that little bit in them. Now, as teachers and the boy band LFO have already taught us, Billy Shakespeare wrote a whole bunch of sonnets, and he straight up invented a lot of words that are now common. And the bard had one-liners for days. But the one thing that many teachers and boy bands leave out about Mr. Billy Shakespeare is that he was a raunchy motherfucker. For example, take the title of his play, Much Ado About Nothing. Pretty much talks about making a big deal over stuff that shouldn't be a big deal, right? Well, yes, but wait, there's more. Back in the day, nothing was Elizabethan, or however the fuck you say, slang for vagina, since compared to dudes, women had quote-unquote nothing between the legs. So Shakespeare was actually being kinky too, and making a big deal about sex. And there's a lot more where where that came from. So first I want to go over is when Benedict gave the D to Beatrice. Ain't much ado about nothing. So the passage says, and this is Benedict, I live in thy heart, die in thy lap, and be buried in thy eyes. Now, to die used to mean to have an orgasm. And I'm dead serious, so ain't much ado about nothing, which again is about quote-unquote nothing. Vagina. Benedict is telling Beatrice that not only is he going to live in her heart, but he'll also leave his seed in her lap. I think this is kind of where Andre 3000 came in. I live in her lap. However that shit goes. But it's said that Shakespeare never failed to pull out some dirty jokes. So number 2, when Macduff learned about whiskey dick, and this is in Macbeth. So in the passage reads, and this is Macduff, what 3 things does drink especially provoke? Porter then says, marry, sir, nose painting, sleep and urine, lechery, sir. It provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an inquisitor with lechery, and it makes him and it mars him. It sets him on and it takes him off. It persuades him. It disheartens him, makes him stand to and not stand to, I'm guessing attention. In conclusion, inquivotes him of some shit I can't read what that says, him in a sleep, and giving him the lie leaves him. Now in Macbeth, Macduff gets a lesson about some of the problems with drinking. And thanks to an alcoholic porter, alcohol, the porter explains, makes you snooze and piss, and also makes you horny, provoking quote-unquote lechery. But then that's the issue. It's whiskey dick. Drinking provokes the desire, quote-unquote, but then to get it on, but also makes it harder to get it up. Thus, quote-unquote, it takes away from the performance, end quote. Discussing his boner, the porter explains that although alcohol, quote-unquote, makes him stand to, unquote, it doesn't stick around for much long. Now the third one here is when Shakespeare gets a boner from hearing his lover's name. This is in Sonnet 151. The passage reads, my soul doth tell my body that he may triumph in love. Flesh stays no further reason. Or stays no farther reason, but rising in thy name, doth point out that thee as a triumphant prize, proud of his pride, he is content thy poor drudge to be, to stand in thy affairs, fall by thy side. End quote. Now, like most of Billy Shakespeare's sonnets, there's a lot going on here, so bear with me. Shakespeare's sonnets were all about love and making love, and as we hear, while his mind was telling him no, his body was telling him yes. And if I could do an R. Kelly impression, then I would have, but, yeah. Now, he eventually, and can just, get kinky with it simply by hearing his lover's name. That's some acid trip flashbacks right there. And a very particular part of Shakespeare's flesh, yes, I'm probably talking about his penis, he starts, quote unquote, rising. Now, even the points, the triumphant prize, which I'm guessing is the gurgly part that, that they love, which makes his dick so proud that he'd be fine with being his lover's servant, thy poor drudge, right? And then he gets even kinkier when he quotes stand, which I'm guessing he's referring to an erection, and then affairs, which would mean, women's genitalia. But ain't no such thing as affairs, ain't no such thing as a vagina, right? So it's pretty clear that his flesh, quote unquote, goes on and quote unquote fall, which refers to the with a decumsence of a fancy word that just pretty much is just saying you're losing your boner after sex. And afterwards, as I'm quoted for saying after, that nigga did. And number 4, when Hamlet spit game to Ophelia, in Hamlet, in the passage reads, this is Hamlet saying, lady, shall I lie in your lap? Ophelia goes, no, my lord. Hamlet, I mean my head upon your lap? Ophelia, ah, my lord. Hamlet goes, do you think I meant country matters? Ophelia, I think nothing, my lord. Hamlet then goes, well, that's a fair thought to lie between maid's legs. Ophelia then says, what is, my lord? Hamlet, nothing. There's like, what's that nothing shit again? When asking to put his head in Ophelia's lap, Hamlet makes then another reference to the lady parts. And when he, in the first syllable of country, I'm guessing he meant to guess country matters. Ophelia then says that, she didn't think anything about the comment. pretty much not giving two fucks. But Hamlet presses on, again, being that thirsty motherfucker that he is. And he used one of my favorite puns where he goes, Hamlet brings up nothing, quote unquote, nothing when it comes to the country matters. Fair at the time that, had to do with both beauty. Hamlet seems pretty excited about the nothing, wink, wink between the fucking maid's legs. That motherfucker's a dirty bitch. And number 5, when Malvolio basically dropped the C word in the 12th night. And the passage reads, and this is Malvolio talking, or Malvolio, or Malvolio. I don't know how to say it, forgive me. I was an English major. I goes, by my life, this is my lady's hand. These be her very C's, her U's, her T's, and thus makes her great P's. It is contempt of a question, her hand. Now, on the 12th night, a servant named Malvolio gets a love letter that he falsely believes was written by his girl. Now, after he, reads the letter, he straight up, on some T-Pain level sprung type shit, loses it. And as classy as always, Shakespeare uses the opportunity to drop the fucking C word for the audience. Try pronouncing it like N, and I don't get it, but I know his own lady's hand. Her cunt pretty much makes her pee. And Malvolio talks about his girl and her lady parts about pissing. I mean, I'm not too sure, but there's something in that. I always refer to cunt being pronounced, I'll see you next time, bitch. Now, the next one, when Venus wanted Adonis to go down on her, and this is in Venus and Adonis, the passage reads, graze on my lips, and if those hills be dry, stray lower, where the pleasant fountains lie. Now, straight up and down, I'm going to say that again. Graze upon my lips, and if those hills be dry, stray lower, where the pleasant fountains lie. Now, if you needed a new or technically really old way to ask your man to go down on you, look no further than Mr. Shakespeare's poem of Venus and Adonis, because the poem is about the goddess of love, Venus, and then her boo, the young, hung, thirsty, and Adonis. They don't take it the wrong way. Venus is cool if you want to make out a little bit, graze upon her lips, which I thought meant her coochie lips. If it's not there yet, so you got to play with them a little bit where the fountains lie. But Venus doesn't, really have time for all that. So she suggests that Adonis be round another base or two. So don't just kiss her lips, Venus says. Go a little lower to her quote-unquote nothing, to use Shakespeare's term, which is where the pleasant fountains lie. And ladies, maybe you give that line a little bit of, tenderness, or use it on Tinder. Maybe who knows? But now the next one is when Aaron told the ultimate yo mama joke. Now, and this is in Titus Andronicus. I wish I could fucking pronounce it. I'm going to butcher the fuck out of this. I'm glad this is the last one. So Demetrius goes, villains, thou hast thou done. Aaron goes, that which canst not undo. Bitch, Mark. Someone named Chiron says, thou hast undone our mother. Aaron says, villain, I have done thy mother. Demetrius says, and therein hellish dog thou hast undone. Woe to her chance, and by damned her loath choice. Now, for some context, Demetrius and Chiron are two sons of Tamora, who's the queen of the Goths. And Aaron, a Moor, has a thing with Tamora, and her sons are pissed at Aaron, who's the quote-unquote villain, because they think that he's been terrible, for their mom, leaving her quote-unquote undone. But then Aaron drops one classic literature best where he goes, yo mama jokes, where he goes, he hasn't undone their mom, and that he has done their mom. That's some savage shit. Drop the mic, motherfucker. Shakespeare! Alright, so in the realm of love, and that in which we do for love, and that in which what love makes us do, we have to dedicate, and we have to give our sacrifices. And worthy is the Lamb, and of course, there can never be another sacrifice and peace offering given other than the Prince of Peace. And although I feel bad that God had to put him on a stick and cook him rotisserie style, I know that he took his soul, got on the motherfucking mothership, and is out there trying to bless us, and try to help us, trying to guide us, and trying to make us do what it is that it does. But in which case, my people, it's time for Bitch, make it Alright, so I really don't want to just kind of unjustly throw someone into the pits and not be able to, let them, live or speak their piece, or kind of to give them that one more chance. And I always feel like we always deserve one more chance. But a person who has been the dedication many a time, and who I have put posters on the wall too, and she's at this point, I want to say vintage vagina, Mr. Barrymore. I love you so much. I'm talking about since the days of E.T. when my daddy was a pervert. Made sure that we watched all of your movies, from seeing you in Bad Girls, which you played a little naughty cowboy girl bitch, to seeing you play fucking Jim Carrey's boo in fucking Batman and Robin, where I remember all you had was but 2 fucking lines, and realistically speaking, you and him could have been the Harley and Joker of today. Seeing you do this, I don't know if it was an Australian accent or what kind of accent, but you did a small little cameo part in Wayne's World 2 where you're just fucking adorable, and Gravity was good to you. And then I definitely fell in love with you when I remember seeing you in Wedding Singer, and then even again on 51st Dates. And I tried to like the one where you and Adam Sandler go to fucking Africa, but I couldn't really get jiggy with it. Like, I loved you so hard. And I saw the first episode of a series on Netflix called the Santa Clara Diet, and my God, the premise seems kind of cool. Some realtor who is married, has a kid, and she then becomes somehow a fucking zombie, or she's eating motherfuckers. And I'm not just too sure if I wasn't ready for that, even though I knew what I was gonna get, what I was gonna watch due to the trailer. But I really didn't like it, and it broke my heart so much, because I've been so in love with you. I've loved her so much throughout her whole career, just adored her, and and I always wished that secretly that her and Adam Sandler can just get married and run off together. We can see a movie about the true story behind the lines, or I can find out some kind of details about if they ever hooked up and this and that, which seems like it's retarded and ridiculous. But again, I'm so sorry, mamas. I love you so much, but you about to go into the fire. You about to be that holy land that will open the doors for new life. In which case, I then now want to make my dedication, the one that I'd like to save. And you know what? Matter of fact, I think I made her dedication before. I think she's Shia LaBeouf's girl, Mia Goth. And she's in this new movie called The Cure for Wellness. So I highly recommend. I haven't seen the movie yet. Just the trailer alone fucking irks me the fuck out. It really fucks with me, because just you don't know, being able to be thrown into this kind of shit. Again, I won't spoil shit. Y'all go check it out. Go peep it. She's gonna be in. I remember knowing her from Nymphomaniac, and she just played a cold-hearted, as you can tell from the title. And there's just something about her. Just seeing her interviews. I don't know if it's the accent. I don't know if just because she kind of looks soulless and just needing of a host. You know what I'm saying? To fill in with spirits. I think there's something of that nature. I'm not too sure, but she lives quite a quiet life. So I think that's kind of, in all honesty, that's kind of one of the most sexiest things of all. You look at, and usually when I burn a bitch, it's to a hoe on Instagram, or someone who's, really putting her pussy in the platter, hoping everyone comes and takes a whiff. Usually those are the ones that throw into the fire. So this is just kind of, in the realm of, being month of love, quote unquote, commercialized series of, I had to throw someone who I loved in there that I feel like is confusing me. And I'm pretty sure she gonna come back, because like any strong woman, no matter how down, you can be torn, or how destroyed, you can be. Oh, that's just for a silver lining. Everything that happens, if we have a way to control it, it's in our hands. And that, in which isn't, again, is for that very reason, because we're unable to handle it, or it's not for us to be able to manage or to steer. And in this life, in this journey, in the shit that we do, that's really all that we can do, is deal in that which we're given, that in which we have, that in which we can deal and bargain with. Hope you can already tell right there from the powers that be, they're not wanting for me to get too deep in the message, because again, I can't give you all the answers, nigga. I ain't Sway nor Kanye, although a little bit of both, because I'm both heavily religious and also a little bit crazy. But again, I'm going to bid you adieu, and if you ever want to talk to me, you can always reach me at SoulPapo. That's SoulPapo on most social medias. If you want to become a producer of the show, as always, you can go to www.patreon.com/SoulPapo. Give me all your money, make me famous. Like, subscribe, all that shit. You know where to fucking reach us. I'm gonna put links so you can check out the whole podcast and other podcasts in which me and my boy Arizona Verse get down on the IBHM podcast. Again, it's I'm Black, he's Mexican, which I'm sure is the only reason why you listening to me and how you would know of me, unless somehow you found me on the YouTubes or what have you. You being investigative as you is. God bless you. Stay strong and by all means get yours. All of whatever that means. Find your fruit.
I found 2 empty beer cans in the trash.
All right, you keep up the good work. I'll get you your own shopping cart.
These were in our trash, as opposed to the recycling bin. And you didn't rinse them.
When I finish a beer, the can is pretty clean.
Don't do it for the planet. Just do it because I asked you to, and I'm your wife. For now.
Okay, you're right. From now on, I'll do a better job handling the cans. On that subject, why don't you shuttle those puppies up?
I was wearing sneakers so I could get to you faster.
Save you the trouble of changing your footwear.
Oh, yeah, because I was going to.
The big dog will come to you.
Great read on the situation, honey. I gotta go.
Fiddling with all the things I probably shouldn't be doing. Wide-eyed, smiling, ooh, the truest to me as can be. Tell me, why are they hating? They don't know about me, just what I let them see. Ooh, they can't fuck with me. No, they really can't fuck